Well, joining us now is the leader of Ukip, Nigel Farage, who lost the Thanet South seat to the Conservatives at the general election. And I'm wondering why you haven't made a formal complaint yourselves, because we broadcast this information about the hotel bills in your constituency.
Yeah, I've been complaining at several by-elections about the wholesale disregard for the law that the Conservative Party appear to have. What is interesting is why the Labour Party don't complain about any of this. I mean,
this is a rather generalised answer to a very specific question.
I'm moving on.
Why have you not complained?
Because I've got a referendum to fight. I don't look backwards in life, I look forwards. However, I think what you did last night and tonight, and we hear there have been some complaints today about the Newark by-election, I would be very surprised if a member of the public, or more than one member of the public, having watched that report from Thanet, didn't make a complaint.
But surely it's your kind of democratic obligation.
Oh, yes, I agree with that.
Therefore, you have an obligation, seeing as you have some evidence, and you are involved, and there's still the statute of limitations is not run out on that.
Yeah, well, I tried at Newark.
Therefore, a case can be mounted.
I tried at Newark. I said the Tories had completely overspent the limit.
What about
and I was accused of being a bad loser.
No, well, come on. What about Thanet? No, but bad losing is quite different from something which might be in contravention with the law.
I have no doubt that what happened in that Thanet constituency was in complete breach of electoral law, and I think Michael Crick's report paints it very... In fact, the hotel bills are actually bigger than the total spending limit for the short campaign. I am not myself going to make a complaint. Ukip are not going to make a complaint, but if members of the public do, and I'd be very surprised if they don't...
And that's after 4 constituencies that we've talked about, all of which are affecting Ukip. But you see, the point about this is, and we had this a little bit with Douglas Carswell last night, there's a sort of reluctance to take this forward, and one suspects or wonders whether perhaps you were doing the same thing.
No, the reluctance... No, I am entirely confident. And we were very, very careful because we knew... Look, the Labour and Tory parties have had a pact on this. It's been going on for decades. They ignore the overspending of each other. We knew that if we won that seat, we'd overspend, they would come down on us like a ton of bricks. So are we compliant? Yes. But do I want to be seen to be a whinger? No.
But your own national returns seem to indicate some very heavy expenditure on local campaigns. That's exactly what the Tories were doing.
No, there is a very big difference. I mean, take wraparounds, for example, an issue that Michael raised earlier.
Yes.
There is a very big difference between looking at the law and saying, what can we do that's within the law, and wholesale disregard of the law. And frankly, booking out an entire hotel and putting senior Tory staff in it for a long time could not possibly have been national expenditure.
But you see, you spent £6,000 advertising in the Thanet Gazette, Thurrock being number 2 on your list of targets.
Yeah.
And you declared it as a national expenditure.
Yes, our view was you could do things like wraparounds without naming the candidate, without promoting the candidate, and that was entirely within electoral law. That was the judgment we took. But what we're comparing that with is wholesale, willful disregard of the law.
We had an election QC, a QC who specialises in election law last night on, and he said this is widespread. This has been going on for years. And they are flouting an old 19th century election law which needs reform. And yet you could be the agent of reforming Britain's democratic processes, and you don't want to be.
I would like to reform this. I would scrap the entire postal voting system. And frankly, if the Conservatives have behaved like this...
Well, why don't you get your MP in the House of Commons to do just that?
What are they going to do in the referendum?
Why don't you get your MP in the House of Commons, who has the power to do this, to raise it and get it done?
Well, he did say last night he was prepared to write letters.
It's all sort of
I think if the public see a party complaining about itself, they say, oh, it's all sour grapes. Let the public pick up from these reports, and I'm absolutely confident they will.
But you see, the awful thing is, you said it's a two-party thing that Labour and the Tories get up to, but the truth of the matter is, it seems that everybody involved is really quite happy to let it go on.
No. I mean, I have complained by-election after by-election over the years about, as I say, postal vote rigging, overspending, and I've frankly been laughed at. Perhaps I'll be laughed at a bit less after these Channel 4 reports.